Good morning. Good morning and welcome to First Parish in Concord on a beautiful December morning. It does not get nicer in December than this, a bright sunny day to enjoy. I want to welcome all who have gathered here in the sanctuary for worship. It is so good to see each and every one of you. It does us so much good that you actually physically come to church. The choir sings better, I preach better, Liz prays better for your presence here. I promise you that. There's a lot of congregating that has to happen in a congregation. So welcome to church this morning. I am lifted up by your presence here. To the folks who are gathering online, we're glad that you have taken part of your Sunday morning as well to be in worship from home. Teresa is our host on the Zoom link. Teresa, thank you so much for taking care of the good folks who are watching the service online. And just play along at home and be in worship with us. If you're watching later on YouTube, we're glad that you have checked us out and hope that you might join us in person one day or online as well. Welcome to church this morning. We do a lot around here to make things accessible for folks. There are listening devices in the back. If those would be helpful, the ushers can help you with those. They work really well. We have an elevator right through these doors here that reaches all of the levels, and all of the restrooms have accessible stalls. We are glad that you are here this morning. We are grateful to all of you for taking care of this community. To keep us all safer, masks must be worn inside the building. Also, social distance, please. Our worship leaders, choir, and teachers are all vaccinated. We strongly encourage vaccination for everyone who is medically able, as this is how we can care for ourselves and for one another. The choir will sing one anthem, and the congregation will sing the closing hymn. We're trying to keep the windows open to improve ventilation, so just bundle up as needed or sit in the center section and you'll be a little bit warmer if you're there. If you or a family member has tested positive for COVID, please call or email a member of the church staff. If there's been a COVID exposure at church, we will let the congregation know. Together, we covenant to reduce the risk of COVID by each doing our part. Our call to worship this morning are words by Gordon McKeeman, known as Bucky. He says, "Deep calls unto deep, joy calls unto joy, light calls unto light. Let the kindling of this flame rekindle in us the inner light of love, of peace, of hope. And as one flame lights another, nor grows the less, we pledge ourselves to be bearers of the light wherever we are." Let us worship together.
Good morning. I invite you, if you are home, to light your chalice or candle, and we will light our chalice, the flaming of our Unitarian Universalist faith, here in the sanctuary. All of us together kindling this flame, kindling each other's flames, the light of love, peace, and hope, that our lights may grow more, not less, today and every day. Let us say together our chalice lighting response. The words are on a slide or in your order of service. O flame of our faith, open our hearts and fill our bodies and souls with persistent strength. Enliven our spirits and engage us deeply in this life of ours, this sacred, essential moment now. Today is the third Sunday of Advent, and so we continue lighting our Advent wreath candles. Today we light our pink candle for Mary. It is a candle of joy. Our Advent reading is from Howard Thurman, adapted from his writing. I will light candles this season, candles of joy, despite all sadness, candles of hope where despair keeps watch, candles of courage for fears ever present, candles of peace for tempest-tossed days, candles of grace to ease heavy burdens, candles of love to inspire all my living, candles that will burn all the year long. Let us continue to settle with our centering music. How joyful, Eric. Thank you. Our responsive reading today is in the back of your gray hymnal, number 619, or it will be on a slide on your screen. So number 619, the Magnificat. This translation, loose interpretation, is by Fred Wooden. The Magnificat are Mary's words, as recorded in the Gospel of Luke. This is when the angel told her that she would have a son and name him Jesus. The Magnificat is her response. I will read the Roman or first lines of type and invite you to read the italicized or second lines of type along with Beth. My soul magnifies God. We are enlarged.
And my spirit breaks out, rejoicing in the face of freedom.
That God, something now within, yet not mine, has glanced at this daughter of hope.
And behold, henceforth, time will know and regard me.
For that great mystery is a beam drawn through this lens,
Comforting me and all people, the shadows now dispersed.
there is strength here, like the sinew of a mother's arm.
It shatters the brittle pride of wealth.
It levels the clay-foot thrones of tyrants.
It upholds the forgotten, the scarred.
Hunger, both body and soul, will be filled.
Riches will no more be rewarded.
The Holy One cleaves to those who keep faith. It will endure in those who serve mercy.
And the promise made to legend ancestors will be kept.
For our second reading today, I have a teaching tale by Rabbi Nachman. A man from a certain town once dreamed that in Vienna, under a bridge, there lay a buried treasure. He traveled to Vienna and stood there by the bridge, trying to think what to do. During the day, it would be impossible to dig because of the people. As he stood there, a soldier passed by and asked, What are you standing thinking about?" The man thought it would be best to tell him the truth. Perhaps he would help him, and they could share the proceeds. He told him the whole story. "Jews only think about dreams," cried the soldier. "I had a dream, too, and in my dream I also saw a treasure. It was in a particular house belonging to a particular person." The soldier mentioned the very name of the man's city and the name of the man himself. There in the cellar lies a great treasure," the soldier said, "and I want to go there and take it." The man returned home, dug in his cellar, and found the treasure. "Now I know that the treasure is with me," he said, "except that to find out about it, I had to travel to Vienna." One of the most beautiful nights of my life happened about 15 years ago, far from here. I had just begun a 3-month sabbatical and had traveled to Mexico City so that I might witness the feast day of Our Lady of Guadalupe. Her feast day is today, December 12th. And all over Mexico, people will honor her with an offering of roses. For any of you who have not heard of her, Our Lady of Guadalupe is Mary, the mother of Jesus, who is said to have appeared repeatedly to a poor indigenous man in December 1531. From this appearance has grown a large Catholic shrine to Mary, visited by thousands every year. And on the night of December 11th into December 12th, the enormous plaza of the shrine is filled with people praying, singing, and lighting candles. Having all brought roses, a beautiful scent fills the air. The sound of continual masses drift out of the various churches on the site. People gently flow from one place to another. No vendors are allowed into the shrine, so there is nothing to break the religious mood. A sense of joy pervades the gathering. So what is a Unitarian Universalist minister doing on sabbatical at the Basilica of Our Lady of Guadalupe, you ask? I went in part to try to see if I could understand Mary better. I went to see if I could see in the devotion of others the reason she is so venerated, the reason she is so important to millions. And I like a spectacle generally, and this certainly qualified. Having been raised in the liberal Protestant Christian tradition, I was aware of Mary, but had no special feelings for her. For most Protestants, she appears as part of the birth narrative at Christmas and then again at the foot of the cross at Easter. She is not a major figure for most Protestants, but for Catholics, she is. For Catholics, Mary is central to their faith. She can intercede on behalf of people. She has a direct channel to Jesus, her Son, and she is seen as the strongest advocate for anyone in trouble. Mary's joy radiates to all who kneel before her. But there I was, a spiritual tourist, enjoying the beauty of the scene, moved by other people's devotion, but a tourist nonetheless. I was like the man in Rabbi Nachman's story, standing by a bridge in Vienna, waiting for a chance to dig for buried treasure. The 13th century Muslim poet Rumi says, "If you knew yourself for even one moment, if you could just glimpse your most beautiful face, maybe you wouldn't slumber so deeply in that house of clay. Why not move into your house of joy and shine into every crevice? For you are the secret treasure bearer and always have been. Didn't you know?" I'll repeat that in case you didn't catch it the first time. If you knew yourself for even one moment, if you could just glimpse your most beautiful face, maybe you wouldn't slumber so deeply in that house of clay. Why not move into your house of joy and shine into every crevice? For you are the secret treasure bearer and have always been. Didn't you know? It has not been easy to be joyful these last couple of years. The state of the world does not lend itself to joy, nor does a global pandemic that is far from over. To me, joy seems to be the last thing that I get to. Somehow it seems joy must wait until all other needs are met. Joy must come like dessert after some healthy meal, a small reward for getting through the mundane. So it's surprising to have Rumi accuse me of slumbering in my house of clay. Why not move into your house of joy, he asks, and shine into every crevice? Why not? Maybe we're taking joy too seriously. Maybe we think it is something unattainable like happiness. Maybe we are frightened to be joyful when so much else about life is broken. If you knew yourself for even one moment, Rumi says, if you could just glimpse your most beautiful face, maybe you wouldn't slumber so deeply in that house of clay. Just one moment. That is all that is asked of us. Just one moment. Now, that shouldn't be so hard, should it? This third Sunday of Advent, we light a candle for joy. We light the pink candle, which is Mary's candle, remembering her joy at the child growing inside her. We remember her words to the angel Gabriel, "Here I am, servant of God, let it be with me, according to your word." Life was not easy for Mary either. Young, pregnant, not yet married, she must have had too much on her mind. Yet joy fills her. Journeys await her, perilous journeys. Sadness awaits her, profound sadness. Yet joy fills her. She understands the treasure she carries. Rumi's words, "For you are the secret treasure bearer, and always have been," ring true for Mary. And it is her beautiful, shining face that radiates joy to others. We cannot wait until we are joyful to find joy, just as we cannot wait until we are happy to find happiness. Joy and happiness are fleeting. They are not constant states. We glimpse joy at unexpected times, and we find it in unexpected places. And most often, it is when we search our own hearts that we find it within. Like a treasure buried in our own cellar, joy waits with its promise for us to find it where we are. As daylight slowly appeared in the east that December 12th in far-off Mexico City, the crowd started to disperse. Sleepy children and grandparents were roused. Groups of friends said goodbye to each other. A few priests wandered in the crowd, giving blessings to any who wanted them. Had Mary appeared again to the faithful? Yes and no. There'd been no miraculous vision, nor was any expected. Rather, a much more subtle and sustainable thing had happened. A community had gathered to remember an important religious event. Each person who had made the pilgrimage to the basilica that night had brought their own fears and doubts, their own hopes and dreams. They had come expecting the common miracle that happens every time a community gathers. They had come expecting the beauty of imperfect people trying to live their faith in a troubled world. They had come expecting to feel joy, and they had felt it. I had felt it too. We had all come a long way seeking a treasure, and each of us was reminded that the treasure, in fact, lay within us all along. Joy is ours to have. It lives within us. This Christmas season, let us move into this house of joy and shine into every crevice. So be it. Amen. Take a minute or two and talk to those near you. The question is, where are you finding joy in these days? If you need to move closer to somebody, feel free to do that. You can keep a little distance. Where are you finding joy these days?
Villancico is a word for a Spanish song dating back as far as the Middle Ages, a song that was based in the dance, in the joy of dance. And these songs changed over the centuries to become, some of them, religious songs. And then some of them became villancicos de Navidad, or Christmas carols in Spanish. Today we will sing you one called Dondon, Vergas Maria. It comes from the 16th century, and the words are what was commonly found a dialogue telling a part of the Christmas story. The chorus goes, "She is Our Lady, the Virgin Mary, and Dondon, bright pale are the feet that dance for us." And then there's an announcement. "Oh lads, on this night a virgin gave birth to a fine boy without equal in the world." And then comes the question, "Say, who told you of this birth? We've never heard about this before." And then comes the answer. "The angels said, singing in loud voices, Gloria in excelsis Deo," and he is to be found in Bethlehem. The language is Catalan, Dondon.
Let us enter a time of prayer and meditation for ourselves and one another and for our world. None of you have asked to be held in prayer and meditation yourselves, nor for folks in your family or friends today, and yet I know all of us hold people in our hearts and in our minds. So I invite you to call those names aloud now or type them into the chat if you wish. Who should we lift up today? And as we are led in spirit of life, I invite you to hum along, settling more deeply into this cloud of names, this time of prayer and of meditation.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Will you pray with me? Spirit of love and joy, be with us now. We offer this prayer for ourselves, for our own tender hearts, especially for those times when we dwell in our houses of clay. It is too easy to get stuck there, and sometimes we just get knocked down into those depths. This is a prayer for one another, for the despair that we share or that is held in the quiet of one another's hearts. And yet, as a community, we hold one another in care. And this is a prayer for our world today, especially for our earth, aching with catastrophe wrought by climate crisis. Spirit of love and joy, be here now. When we are in the depths, we need you to inspire us. Help us to find and build our houses of joy, the treasure in our own hearts, waiting always to be rediscovered, to be brought out. The beauty in each other's faces, the joy we find when we gather, the joy we find when we connect across time and across miles, coming together in community. And finally, our houses of joy, our dream of a better world, our dream and our commitment to put our faith into action, to create the world of which we dream. Spirit of love and joy, be here now. Be here and hear this prayer. May all who have come in sorrow today find solace. May all who have come in joy find their joy doubled. And may each of us, by our daily living, make our world a better place. Let us continue in a time of meditation, and a time of personal prayer, and a time of stillness. Let us join together again in song as we're led in Find a Stillness. You may let it echo in your heart or hum along if you wish.
Find a stillness, hold a stillness, let the stillness carry me. Find the silence, hold the silence, let the silence carry me. In the Spirit, by the Spirit, with the Spirit giving power, I will find true harmony.
I would like to invite Andrea from Dignity and Asylum to light our social ashen candle. Come on up. Feel free to take off your mask.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for sharing the plate with us today. Dignity and Asylum is a small nonprofit organization based right here in Concord. We are all volunteers, and we offer free housing for people seeking asylum. So when people seek asylum in the United States, they come here to save their lives. They escape persecution in their home countries and come here to find protection. However, when they arrive, there is no support network in place for them. They do not qualify for government support, and even resettlement agencies cannot take them on as their clients. So the life here as an asylum seeker is incredibly hard and further traumatizing. I want to tell you about one couple that stayed with us around 5 years ago. She was a high-profile political activist in her home country in Eastern Africa. And because of her political activities, she and her husband were arrested and tortured and had to leave the country as quickly as possible to save their lives. They had to leave behind their young daughter, who went into hiding with the grandmother. When they arrived, they also didn't have a place to stay. The young woman was pregnant, a high-risk pregnancy, and they spent their nights in empty storefronts, sometimes in an empty car. And when we finally had a space in one of our apartments, they moved in with us. I chose that story because their young daughter was born right here at Emerson Hospital, exactly 5 years ago. Today's her birthday. They stayed with us for over a year and a half, and have since been granted asylum. They can be reunited with their other daughter and can start to rebuild their lives. So thank you so much for supporting our guests and standing with them. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea. We are sharing the plate all month long in December with Dignity in Asylum. The ushers will come through soon with a plate. You can put cash or checks in it. If you'd like to donate via text, that number is in your order of service, or it will appear on the screen if you're watching online. And if you're watching later on YouTube, we'll take donations any old time. So an offering for the good work and witness of First Parish in Concord and Dignity in Asylum will now be gratefully received.
As we come towards the end of our service, I want to invite you to all of the good things going on here at First Parish. How do you find out about all of the good things going on at First Parish? You check FP Weekly. That is our Friday email that has just a little schedule with links where you can read more about everything going on, as well as things that are coming up later down the road. I do want to highlight that we are gathering for Christmas Eve here at church at 4 p.m. We will be outside, so it'll be a good time to bundle up, sing some carols, have some hot cocoa later together. And if you are home, we will also be live streaming that service so you can join by Zoom. The link for that is in FP Weekly, and it's different from our Sunday morning link, so just take a look at that. Christmas will happen on Saturday, and then Sunday is the 26th. We will be closed in the morning, but invite you to remember your favorite service, which you can find on our YouTube channel. I also want to share today that our Black Lives Matter banner, which lives out on our front porch, was stolen about a week ago. However, it's already back up. We had a spare here on hand because sadly this is kind of par for the course. And so we will keep on doing what's right together. We have more coming in the mail for the next time around. Today, we have our final welcome, re-welcome class, so I know I'll see some of you there. Right now, after service, we have our worship sharing circle, which today is led by Jim Snyder-Grant. Upstairs or up the elevator, and then just keep going until you get to the end room, the Ripley room there. The worship sharing circle is a chance to reflect on the themes of service today and how it impacts your life, how your life intersects with our Unitarian Universalist practice. If you would like a more free-flowing opportunity to be together after service today, we have coffee hour, again with the amazing weather. We'll take it while we can. Outside on the terrace in the labyrinth area, we ask you to mask if you can't distance, please. We invite you to find ways to connect more with First Parish. Today, our welcome table is hosted by Sarah Ballard and Susan C. And then we also have lots of ways that you can get involved and help out in our wider world. Check out the social action tables, including one about dignity in the Asylum. Finally, today we have our holiday memorial wreath. If you are grieving, I invite you to come and tie a ribbon here today or during office hours if you are coming from home. Let us sing it together. What a joy it is to sing together, isn't it? After quite a long time. Our hymn is in your gray hymnal, number 246, O Little Town of Bethlehem. The words will also be on your screen. Let's rise in body, rise in spirit, and sing together number 246.
Little town of Bethlehem, how still we see thee lie. Above thy deep and dreamless sleep, the silent stars go by. Yet in thy dark street shineth the everlasting light. The hopes and fears of all thy years are met in thee tonight. For Christ is born of Mary, and gathered all above. While mortals sleep, the angels keep their watch O morning stars together proclaim the holy birth. Let praises ring from Broadway ring, goodwill to all on earth. How silently the wonder is made known, when God imparts to human hearts the gift that is our own. No ear may hear the thronging, but in this world we live, when souls are truly humble, and the dear may rest
There is joy all around you. It may not be obvious. It may be tiny little bits of joy, but seek it out, find it, enter into, move into that house of joy, this season of joy. Find joy wherever you look. Let us say the First Parish Benediction, saying, "Go out into the world in peace, have courage, hold on to what is good, return to no person evil for evil, strengthen the faint-hearted, support the weak, help the suffering, honor all beings." Please come out to the coffee hour or up to the worship sharing circle.